speaking, if you learn to let go of your habits of unnecessary muscular holding, your need for chiropractors will rapidly diminish. So some people may still need a chiropractor on occasion, but I think the most important thing is to address your habits that are deforming your musculature and causing you to want to go see a chiropractor. Now, the medical model is very different from the Alexander model. So when you see a chiropractor, an osteopath, or an acupuncturist, they fix you. You are passive. You just lie there, and they do things to you, and they take care of you. In an Alexander lesson, the pupil has to do almost everything. The teacher tries to bring his awareness to his habits, but the pupil has to do the work. So we use an educational model where we have a teacher and a student instead of a doctor and a patient. We don't view our students as patients. We don't fix them. We don't cure them. We don't diagnose them. We help them become aware of their habits of unnecessary compression and then show them how they can let them go. But they have to do a lot of work. So for people who just want to get fixed, some other modality will work better for them, because in Alexander technique, you're going to have to do a lot of work.
I was just saying the other day to a friend of mine on here that was asking me questions about radio. I've got somewhat of a history in radio, and I said the best thing that you can do is listen to yourself. And the reason I say that is because you're talking about viewing yourself. And I think that never worked more than one night when my daughter was on my show. It's a very quick little short story. And she came upon a person that called in and just unleashed on him, cussing and cussing. And when she was forced, and we had to force her to listen to this, some people are like, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. No. You're going to listen to this, we said. This was 2 years ago. And once she listened to that, she was repulsed by listening to herself, like you're talking about, viewing yourself. I think that is one of the most important things that you can do is look at what we see, and that right there alone will help you. I've often thought that's why dance studios have mirrors everywhere. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, watch yourself. Have you ever noticed the posture of a ballerina? It's just immaculate. Now, the posture of a Marine, he's forced to do that. He's made to do that. He's trained. Get your shoulders back, get your head up, get your all these different things. But I believe that our muscles will continually move our skeletal system around, which will cut off certain areas of oxygen, of blood, of things. Let me stop for one moment and bring on my co-host, who is affectionately called Bathtub Girl, because, and I'm going to let her tell you why, I've nicknamed her Splash, and she's just adorable, and she's here on the board. Splash, are you there?
Yes, I am. I've enjoyed listening.
Isn't this fun? Look at what I got.
It is.
Look at him, and he's just...
I thought last night was good, but this is really good.
Gorgeous, too.
I like diction. I like speaking and focusing, and it's true about the, straightening your spinal column. I mean, that's absolutely true.
Tell him about you and what, this is, I told him we've hit jackpot here,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's on. Go ahead.
Well, my name, I was on a conservative show on Blog Talk, and this lady, I'm in the bathtub a lot, like I'm in the bathtub right now. And this conservative lady didn't like what I had to say. She goes, well, bathtub girl. And she had a very nasal voice. And it was, I was thinking, oh, I like that. Bathtub girl, that suits me. Because I had to take these baths for my medical condition. And, there's only so many books you can read in the bath, or poems to write or whatever.
Tell him about your chronic pain and what you deal with your muscles and stuff like that, yeah.
I have a rare form of lupus that affects my intestines and my reproductive organs. It's a rare form. I'm the 7th person in the world. The last one was in northern Italy that had the specific form of lupus. It's not your generic lupus. So I have a lot of problems with my muscles, a lot of inflammatory conditions. I have Hashimoto's disease. That's with the thyroid, and it's inflammation of the thyroid. That's what I deal with on a day-to-day basis. It's worse in the summer. The sun makes it a lot worse for me. So is he there?
Yes, I'm listening, and it sounds like a real challenge. I mean, 1 of 7 people to have this disease. So
worldwide.
As an Alexander Technique teacher, I don't diagnose people or pretend to cure or fix them, but the technique is very useful for quieting an overexcited nervous system, and the strain of dealing with something like what both of you are dealing with can really send our systems out of whack. So by learning to let go of ways that we're needlessly tensing and compressing ourselves, we can give our nervous system a chance to recharge and to calm down.
Well, that is so true, because I use this bath time. I use candles and incense. I mean, I do everything to relax my body, everything I can imagine. I'm a writer, so sometimes when I write poetry, it just releases so much tension out of my body.
Everybody right now, no matter where you are, freeze, stop. What is your posture, except for Bathtub Girl? Freeze. Are your shoulders slumping forward? Are you sitting up as straight as you possibly can? Are you breathing, beginning with the bottom two? Because our lungs are right. Is it, sir? What should I call you, Mr. Ford? Luke. I need to call you.
Yeah, Luke. Luke is fine.
Luke, we have, as you probably know, and I speak, of course, for the audience. If you don't understand what it is, we have 4 lobes in our lungs: 2 top lobes and 2 bottom lobes. So many of us, we either mouth breathe, which has a lot to do with what we're talking about, or we simply breathe in the top 2 lobes of our lungs. If you will try to do this little exercise, this is also good, is when you look down and you breathe in, see if you can get the bottom 2 lobes air first. And it's a technique that I have actually perfected, and it makes a big difference. Now, tell me, what do you think about the importance of oxygenating our bodies, breathing?
Yeah, it's obviously important. So our approach in the Alexander Technique is by letting go of unnecessary tension, the breathing will take care of itself. So the Alexander approach is kind of the opposite of like the conscious manipulated breathing of, say, yoga or many breathing techniques. So we're really the anti-manipulation breathing technique. So as you learn to notice and let go of ways that you're hunching, compressing, tensing, and holding yourself, then there will be much more room for your lungs to move, and the breath will come in and out much more easily. So we kind of deconstruct all the ways that people tend to interfere with their breathing. And then if you simply get rid of all those bad habits, then the breathing starts to take care of itself, and it's easy. And so I notice with my students when I start working with them and they start letting go of, these weird tension patterns and holding patterns, that suddenly they start really, the diaphragm starts moving, and I feel their ribs like expanding and contracting, and like there's getting a lot more movement in their torso. So many people are just so rigid because they're so tense or frightened or angry. And then, when you're rigid and tense and frightened and angry, then, you're held, and the lungs are to move and to breathe and to get that oxygen.
I agree. Bathtub Girl?
Oh, and there's nothing to disagree with. I mean, keep talking.
Yes,
that's good stuff for people to hear. I don't think they.
Oh, absolutely. Can you tell us a little bit about, get us into the meat of the technique that you teach, maybe, and tell us.
Okay, so the meat is kind of ability for your own use of yourself. So just as the way you drive is going to significantly affect your car, and say the way you use your computer is going to affect the health of your computer. Like if you're turning off your computer without shutting down, you're going to damage your computer and it's not going to function very well. Well, if you're like whipping yourself or driving yourself or tensing yourself, if you're using yourself badly, that's going to really affect your functioning. So according to Dr. Janet Travell, who is the personal physician to John F. Kennedy, virtually all head, neck, back pain is caused by unnecessary muscular holding. So virtually all back pain is caused by unnecessary muscular tension. And so if we learn to become aware of how